Mike Pompeo tonight ignoring questions in Italy.
Do you have any comment on reports you're on the July 25th call with President Zelensky?
Oh, you just gave me a report about a high-secret whistleblower campaign, none of which I've seen.
Is it correct that you were on the phone call that President Trump had with President Zelensky on July 25th?
As for was I on the phone call, I was on the phone call.
Barr should be talking to Australia. He should be talking to Italy. He should be talking to the UK.
And we won't tolerate folks on Capitol Hill bullying, intimidating State Department employees. That's unacceptable.
Adam Schiff, he's a lowlife. He should be forced to resign. There's an expression, he couldn't carry his blank strap. I won't say it because they'll say it was so terrible to say. But that guy couldn't carry his blank strap. Do you understand that? He should resign from office in disgrace. The whistleblower was so dishonest. These are bad people. These are dishonest people. And when the American people find out what happened, it's going to be a great day. They've been trying to impeach me from the day I got elected. You people should be ashamed of yourself. What happened in 2016 is a disgrace to this country. And they're more worried about that because they know they're guilty as hell. I watch my words very carefully. There are those that think I'm a very stable genius, okay?
The question, sir, was what did you want President Zelensky to do about Vice President Biden and his son Hunter?
Are you talking to me? It's a whole hoax. And you know who's playing into the hoax? People like you and the fake news media that we have in this country. And I say in many cases, the corrupt media, because you're corrupt. Much of the media in this country is not just fake, it's corrupt. And you have some very fine people, too. Great journalists, great reporters. But to a large extent, it's corrupt and it's fake. Ask the president of Finland a question, please.
Okay, I'll move on now. Mr. President, the WTO ruled today in favor of the United States, saying that the United States can now impose tariffs on European goods because of illegal subsidies against Airbus.
That was a big win for the United States, right?
It was.
You never had wins with other presidents, did you? But we're having a lot of wins at the WTO since I became president.
This was a case that started, I think, 10 or 15 years ago.
Okay.
But
excuse me. Your wins are now because they think I don't like the WTO and they want to make sure I'm happy because all of those countries were ripping off the United States for many years. They know that I'm wise to it. We've had a lot of wins. This was a $7 billion win. Not bad.
But I think the question is for me.
Look, there are photos today of the president during his first meeting with the leader of Finland, which was talking to reporters. And look, I understand these are moments, okay? You can capture anyone in a moment, but we just saw him speaking. We saw his tone. You know, sometimes a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Well,
Thing one tonight, the president has been known to come up with some, to put it kindly, strange proposals that seem to just pop into his brain out of nowhere, sending his staff scrambling to spin whatever the heck it is he's talking about. The Space Force, for example, and going to Mars before he's out of office, or the big, beautiful, see-through border wall. See-through because drug dealers might throw big bags of drugs over the wall and then hit innocent passersby. Just yesterday, we learned of a Trump idea that's so wild, even his staff was floored. Quote, you could hear a gnat fart in that meeting. People were astonished. After the meeting ended, we thought, what the F? What do we do with this? According to a new report from Axios, President Trump has been very interested in a brilliant plan to stop hurricanes. Drop a nuclear bomb on them.
Privately, the president had often talked about fortifying a border wall with a water-filled trench stocked with snakes or alligators, prompting aides to seek a cost estimate.
That's right. The President of the United States wanted to dig a water-filled trench and stock it with snakes and alligators, you know, like some sort of inbred medieval king. Good news is that judging from this very same news conference he gave in the Oval Office this afternoon with the President of Finland sitting next to him, I'd say Trump seems to be handling it all pretty well.
There's needles and drugs all over the street. He says, hey, tell Vlad I'll talk to him after the election's over. I'll talk to him. She went crazy. She said, we can't impeach him of this conversation. That's a great conversation. President Trump started screaming, ranting, and raving. Alligators and snakes, skin-piercing spikes. I said, why are you asking that stupid question? Everything the Washington Post does is fake. It's a fake newspaper. I don't even use fake anymore. I call the fake news now corrupt news. What happened in 2016 is a disgrace to this country.
Well, that I agree with.
We're going to go and see if we can get inside.
Chaos on Capitol Hill as the president's allies brought the impeachment inquiry to a grinding halt.
We demand open proceedings. The American people deserve nothing less.
Trying to force their way into the secure room where Democrats and Republicans were trying to question a key witness. The disruption delaying the testimony of the top Pentagon official overseeing Ukraine for 5 hours. The president has been urging Republicans to fall in line and toughen up. The Republican protest coming just one day after the top U.S. diplomat in Ukraine, Bill Taylor, described in detail what the president and his allies have been denying, a quid pro quo campaign. Taylor outlining how Trump himself insisted on withholding millions of dollars in military aid to force Ukraine to investigate his political rival. The number 2 Republican in the Senate, John Thune, saying the picture coming out based on the reporting we've seen is not a good one.
The whole thing is a scam.
As U.S. President Donald Trump continues to attack the impeachment investigation, another witness has refused to show up. Acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney is the latest in a string of White House officials to defy a request by Democrats to testify in the congressional impeachment inquiry.
Get over it.
Democrats want to talk to Mulvaney about statements he made last month. He told reporters Trump deliberately held up military aid to Ukraine to pressure it to investigate Trump's political rival, former Vice President Joe Biden.
We do that all the time with foreign policy.
Mulvaney later walked back those statements, and Democrats want to know why. Mulvaney was one of 13 witnesses scheduled to testify in closed-door hearings this past week. Just 2 showed up. As Congress moves toward the public phase of its investigation to begin next Wednesday, Trump says he's opposed to those hearings.
Well, they shouldn't be having public hearings.
That contradicts Republican members of Congress who stormed a closed-door session recently protesting the private hearings and have asked for more openness. Trump released a transcript of the call he says shows no wrongdoing. He's considering releasing a second transcript of another call with the Ukrainian president back in April.
I had a call. I'm sure it was fine. I mean, you know, I make a lot of calls. But I have no problem releasing it. I'm very transparent.
One of President Trump's most supportive witnesses in the impeachment inquiry has changed his testimony to confirm a quid pro quo with Ukraine.
It's never too late to do the right thing.
Democrats applauded Sondland for amending his testimony to say that he does now recall telling a Ukrainian official that aid would likely not occur until Ukraine provided a public anti-corruption statement, specifically reopening the investigation into Burisma, the energy company that employed the son of Mr. Trump's campaign rival, Joe Biden. Even in his original testimony, Sondland told lawmakers that the pressure campaign, led by the president's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, kept getting more insidious as time went on. Hardly the exoneration the White House and Republicans had claimed. This is what they said back then.
He was very clear, no quid pro quo multiple times.
Go look at what Gordon Sondland said today in his testimony.
Now Republicans are downplaying Sondland's role.
You're wanting to focus on Ambassador Sondland instead of focusing on Ambassador Volker, who was the Ukrainian envoy.
But Volker, whose testimony was released too, described the president's demand for dirt on Biden as extremely unfortunate for our policy with Ukraine. Still, Senate Leader Mitch McConnell suggested that wasn't enough to merit impeachment.
If it were today, I don't think there's any question it would not lead to a removal.
I know that members of this committee frequently frame these complicated issues in the form of a simple question. Was there a quid pro quo? As I testified previously, with regard to the requested White House call and the White House meeting, the answer is yes. Mr. Giuliani conveyed to Secretary Perry, Ambassador Volker, and others that President Trump wanted a public statement from President Zelensky committing to investigations of Burisma and the 2016 election. Mr. Giuliani expressed those requests directly to the Ukrainians, and Mr. Giuliani also expressed those requests directly to us. We all understood that these prerequisites for the White House call and the White House meeting reflected President Trump's desires and requirements. Within my State Department emails, there is a July 19th email. This email was sent to Secretary Pompeo, Secretary Perry, Brian McCormick, who is Secretary Perry's chief of staff at the time, Miss Kenna, who is the who is the executive secretariat for Secretary Pompeo, Chief of Staff Mulvaney, and Mr. Mulvaney's senior advisor, Rob Blair. A lot of senior officials. A lot of senior officials. Here is my exact quote from that email. I talked to Zelensky just now. He is prepared to receive POTUS's call. We'll assure him that he intends to run a fully transparent investigation and will turn over every stone. He would greatly appreciate a call prior to Sunday so that he can put out some media about a friendly and productive call, no details, prior to Ukraine election on Sunday. Chief of Staff Mulvaney responded, I asked the NSC to set it up for tomorrow. Everyone was in the loop.
I'm going to go very quickly, just a quick comment on what's going on in terms of testimony with Ambassador Sondland. And I just noticed one thing, and I would say that means it's all over. What do you want from Ukraine? He asks me, screaming. What do you want from Ukraine? I keep hearing all these different ideas and theories. This is Ambassador Sondland speaking to me. Just happened. To which I turned off the television. What do you want from Ukraine? I keep hearing all these different ideas and theories. What do you want? What do you want? It was a very short and abrupt conversation that he had with me. They said he was not in a good mood. I'm always in a good mood. I don't know what that is. He just said, now he's talking about what my response. So he's going, what do you want? What do you want? I hear all these theories. What do you want, right? And now, here's my response that he gave, just gave. Ready? You have the cameras rolling? I want nothing. That's what I want from Ukraine. That's what I said. I want nothing. I said it twice. So he goes, he asked me the question, what do you want? I keep hearing all these things. What do you want? He finally gets me. I don't know him very well. I have not spoken to him much. This is not a man I know well. Seems like a nice guy, though. But I don't know him well. He was with other candidates. He actually supported other candidates. Not me. Came in late. But here's my response. Now, if you weren't fake news, you'd cover it properly. I say to the ambassador in response, I want nothing. I want nothing. I want no quid pro quo. Tell Zelensky, President Zelensky, to do the right thing. So here's my answer. I want nothing. I want nothing. I want no quid pro quo. Tell Zelensky to do the right thing. Then he says, this is the final word from the President of the United States. I want nothing. Thank you, folks. Have a good time. I'm going to Texas.